Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got some really weird new cards that I don't know what they are. No, that's a lie. I know what they are. They're just super confusing, and I have a lot of questions. Sound like a plan? Excellent. You see, there's a new product which is coming out in, I believe it's Hong Kong and Taiwan. We are talking about those territories that use traditional Chinese. But these are promo cards that we haven't seen in Japan. They are cards which are kind of new. I know, not kind of new. No, sorry, kind of new is a terrible way to put it. They are entirely new, but confusing. Because this doesn't happen very often. Most of the time I see these products in Hong Kong and Taiwan, and honestly, I show you a lot of stuff at the moment from mainland China. Because they have new, unique products, and if I'm going to cover the news of the Pokémon TCG, I need to cover these new and unique products. But a lot of what we see in Hong Kong and Taiwan is not new and unique. It's stuff we've already seen over in Japan, a lot of the time exactly the same as Japan had it. And having the same product as Japan with slightly different text on, because it's in a different, and even slightly different, because it's still got kanji on, it's not that exciting. So we don't talk about it too much, because we don't need to. Well, this is brand new, and I have a lot of questions. These are anime cards. They're based on the anime, they've got the characters in, but they have not been released in Japan. I have not, and I know they've not been released in Japan. Maybe for some countries I might miss the odd product here or there if they're revealed at a weird time or something along those lines. Not Japan. There is no way these cards have come out in Japan and I've missed it. I am paying too much attention. I've got my finger on the pulse too much here. These have not been released in Japan. I don't know where they've come from. I don't know whether we're going to get them in Japan. The only information I have right now is that they are coming out in Hong Kong and Taiwan. And they are coming out in this product, and that's the best I can tell you. Now, we do have a little rundown of the product here. We've got a nice little page that tells us all about it. And now, my Japanese reading is okay. I can read a lot of Japanese stuff. My traditional Chinese is garbage, to be honest with you. So, yeah. I'm doing my best here, but it's not perfect. But we have a release date of the 2nd of August. That I know for certain. Same characters as Japan uses. And you're going to get 10 packs of Stellar Miracle. It is very much a Stellar Miracle set. And then there are 3 promo cards. We've got a Sprigatito and a Fuecoco, which according to Google Translate is literally dark crocodile, which I find very amusing. And then there's a jumbo card as well, which is super interesting. We'll get to that one in a minute. As it stands, these are exclusive cards that can't be found anywhere else. And given that one of them is a Fuecoco, I'm afraid I do need to give my usual shout out here. If there's anyone in Hong Kong and Taiwan who can hook me up with one of these sets, please hit me up on Twitter at the Wassy. We'll arrange a trade or something, because seriously, I need this Fuecoco in my life. I love him. Sprigatito, yeah, is cool. The jumbo card is actually stunning. I love it. But I mostly need the Fuecoco. So I really want to try and get one of these sets. If anybody's out there in a territory that gets these, Hong Kong or Taiwan, please do hit me up. We'll get some kind of trade going on. Now, in terms of price, we've got $120, which sounds expensive. But do remember we're talking about Hong Kong dollars here. 120 Hong Kong dollars comes out at 15 US dollars, or about 12 quid. For 10 packs and the free promos. Now, obviously, these are Asian territory packs, so they're smaller packs with fewer cards. They're not like our packs, but still, that seems very, very, very cheap. I love this set. Now, in terms of the Fuecoco and Sprigatito, these are extremely cool cards. They're not great, I'ma be honest with you. They're cool and they've got anime artwork, which I adore, but yeah. For what it's worth, we have actually seen the Fuecoco before. The promo Fuecoco, the shiny one that we got in Paldea and Fates, is this card. Like 80 HP, retreat cost of 2, weakness to water, single energy 20, I don't know if it's technically a reprint, although I think it probably is. Because they've got different promo numbering. But I'm telling you, it's an identical card. It is literally exactly the same. And the Sprigatito is a little bit of a reprint as well. Because the Sprigatito that came around was actually one of the very first ones. The one from Scarlet and Violet base. Colorless energy, 10 damage. Grass colorless, 20 damage. 70 HP, retreat cost of 1, weakness to fire. It is that card. So weirdly, these cards aren't actually new. They're just alternate art reprints. Now that is very, very important. Because if they're new, mechanically unique cards, we have to have them. At some point, we need to actually get these cards, because otherwise there's cards missing from the card pool, and we don't like that. Pokemon don't like cards missing from the card pool. Cards missing from the card pool is bad. But they're not missing from the card pool. We don't need these cards. They're cool, don't get me wrong. We don't need these cards. We will survive just fine without ever having these cards. But what about the Jumbo? Now, the Jumbo is a Jumbo, which I know sounds terribly reductive, but it's true and it's important. The Jumbo is a Jumbo. It's not legal for tournament play. We all know what Matthew Arrive did. If you don't know what he did, he played an entire deck of Jumbos at North American Internationals back in 2022, and then the rules got updated, so you're definitely not allowed to do that anymore. And the entire Pokemon community thinks Matthew is awesome for doing that. I think Matthew's awesome for many reasons. That is one of them. So, again, we don't need this Jumbo card. Because it's a Jumbo card, it's not legal for tournament play, it's not going to affect the game in any negative way if we don't have access to this card. Except it's awesome. Now, I'm going to need to tell a slightly embarrassing story here that does not make me look very clever, but I need to tell it now before someone else tells it on my behalf. I use Google Translate here, and Google Translate came out as exactly Terapagos and Friends, and I actually messaged the lovely Joe Merrick, he of Cerebi, to ask if he had any ideas what Terapagos and Friends might actually be translated as. And luckily I realised before I had to be told. I did eventually realise it for myself. It's obviously Terapagos and Friends. Look at the card. The card is Terapagos surrounded by a bunch of friends. It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out this was called Terapagos and Friends, but I want it on the record that I did eventually get there myself without anyone telling me. And it's actually a really, really fun card. But again, cannot stress this enough, Jumbo card, definitely not legal for tournament play. And it's got 90 HP, which is fine, but 4 energy, and it does 100 damage for each Pokemon that you have in play, which is absurdly powerful. Now, fine, it's only 90 HP, but use any decent energy acceleration, and this becomes absolutely flat out ridiculously broken. Play it in Lugia decks with Archeops, broken. Play it in Chenpao decks with Baxcalibur, broken. It is a ridiculous card, and any energy acceleration you can get rolling here is just absolutely dumb. This card is way too good, properly broken, and that's actually important. It's an important discussion that this card is ridiculously broken because it means it's never getting a proper version. If this was a sensible card, there would be an argument of, well, they've given us a Jumbo now, but you never know. Maybe it gets printed as a real size card and we can use it indexed later. But it's not a sensible card. It is a ridiculous card. It is one of the dumbest cards we have seen probably ever, to be fair. If this was actually released, a basic Pokemon that could do 600 damage with colorless energy being relevant because it means any energy acceleration, it would be hands down one of the best and most broken cards we've ever seen in the history of the game. And it's important that I point that out because it means, it proves, it guarantees that this card will never be released. It's not a sensible card. It is a ridiculous, over-the-top, broken card. The other 2 cards are sensible cards, which is nice. But, they're just reprints of older cards with anime artwork. We don't need them. And for that reason, we're probably never getting them. And it's weird to me that Japan isn't getting these. And to be clear, this is being kind of shown off as a Stellar Miracle promotional product. Now, this is a product to promote the release of Stellar Miracle. Japan has announced Stellar Miracle weeks ago at this point. If they were going to have a similar product to promote Stellar Miracle, we'd already know about it. So there is a genuine chance here, and again, we can't say for certain, this is all conjecture, but I think it's conjecture based on a decent amount of knowledge. It's fair to assume these might end up being unique, exclusive to Hong Kong and Taiwan, which is why I'm so keen to have someone who lives in one of those territories hook me up, frankly. I'm not sure we're going to be getting it elsewhere. It is not a product we need. It is 2 cards that are straight reprints with anime artwork. And to be fair, when you use anime artwork, I can't go into detail about this because I don't know enough. But when you use anime artwork, there are all kinds of licensing issues going on. In terms of who owns the artwork and all of that. It becomes awkward, all right? And then we got a jumbo card, which is full-on broken to the point where, assuming Google Translate hasn't lied to me, maybe it did, it's full-on broken to the point where we're never, ever going to see this as a real card because it's absurd. So we don't ever need this, which is honestly a little bit sad. But don't expect an English release, and honestly, I'm not even sure we're going to be getting a Japanese release of this. Also, as a fun little side note, I have to mention this quickly. There was, when I was in Japan in August for the World Championships, there was a really fun little promotion with Pokemon Mesostar using some of the anime characters on Mesostar pucks. And this reminds me a lot of that. No Terapagos back then, of course, but that's not the point. So there we go. That's what you need to know. It's cool. I love it. But there is an argument there may be an element of disappointment if this does end up being a Hong Kong and Taiwan exclusive. For now, I want to know what you think about all of this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. And of course, get shout outs on the channel like the lovely Danger Morales, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.